Mozart died at age 35 and was buried in an unmarked mass grave with 15 other bodies. The greatest composer in history got a pauper's funeral. But first, please subscribe. Now, let's discover the tragic end of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Mozart was a child prodigy who composed his first symphony at age 8 and created over 600 masterpieces that defined classical music. Yet he died in poverty, forgotten and alone. On December 5, 1791, Mozart died in Vienna after a mysterious 2-week illness. He was only 35 years old, at the height of his creative powers, working on his Requiem Mass for the dead. Here's the heartbreaking part. Mozart was so poor when he died that his wife Constance couldn't afford a proper funeral. She chose the cheapest burial option available, called common grave. In 18th century Vienna, common graves were mass burial pits where poor people's bodies were dumped together without individual markers or ceremony. Mozart was buried with approximately 15 other unidentified bodies. The funeral had only a handful of mourners. No musicians attended. No monument was erected. Mozart's body was taken to St. Marx Cemetery and placed in an unmarked communal grave that would be reused after 10 years. Even worse, nobody marked the location. When people later wanted to honor Mozart's burial site, they couldn't find it because common graves weren't recorded individually. Today, nobody knows exactly where Mozart's body lies. The supposed Mozart grave at St. Mark's Cemetery is just an approximation. Historians admit they're guessing the location. The tragic irony? While Mozart was dying poor in Vienna, his operas were selling out theaters across Europe. He just wasn't receiving the money from ticket sales and royalties he deserved. Mozart had terrible financial management skills. He earned huge sums from commissions and performances, but spent everything immediately on expensive clothes, fancy parties, and gambling debts. His final months were desperate. Mozart composed frantically, trying to earn money to pay debts while suffering from an undiagnosed illness that was slowly killing him. The mysterious illness that killed Mozart has never been definitively identified. Theories include kidney disease, rheumatic fever, trichinosis, or even poisoning by rival composer Antonio Salieri, though that's likely myth. Mozart's last completed work was a clarinet concerto. His famous Requiem remained unfinished at his death. His student Franz Süssmayr completed it later based on Mozart's notes. Within 20 years of his death, Mozart's reputation exploded. He became recognized as the greatest composer who ever lived. His music influenced Beethoven, inspired countless composers, and defined classical music forever. The ultimate tragedy? If Mozart had lived just 10 more years, he would have seen himself celebrated as a genius and died wealthy and honored instead of alone in a pauper's grave. Vienna eventually recognized its mistake. Today, Mozart is Austria's national treasure. His music is performed worldwide, and his birthplace, Salzburg, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But his body remains lost forever in an unmarked mass grave, the ultimate monument to how society treats artistic genius during their lifetime versus after death. That's your tragic genius knowledge bomb. If Mozart's story breaks your heart, smash that like button. Subscribe for more forgotten geniuses who died without recognition.